Why is Harley Davidson paintwork so bad? It's just awful.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. So this video I'm talking about Harley Davidson motorcycles and the quality of their paintwork. If you go onto the forums, you go onto YouTube, let's say, you scroll through comments, invariably you'll have lots of people complaining about the paintwork on their motorcycles. It seems as if it scratches too easily, too readily. Now I've got to say, for the most part, there does seem to be a bit of truth in this as well. The paintwork does seem to mark really easily. Now it seems as if it has improved over the years, but it's still not as durable, let's say, as possibly other brands are. Now take my Harley Davidson Sport Glide, yes, the M8 Softail, the heroic Harley, absolutely love it, but the paintwork has let me down right from the very word go. So let me just tell you a couple of things that I've noticed. Well, first of all, it scratches really easily. Within, let's say, a month of owning the bike, on the front fairing, right at the front, just above the headlight area there, I noticed that road debris was scuffing it, just scuffing it. So that's when I had to create a little template to go over it, like a vinyl wrap to go over it. If you watch my videos back in the day, you'll see what I was talking about. But now it's really scratched a lot. In fact, I was doing some work to the fairing a few weeks ago and it just totally scratched it. And I had it on a blanket as well. So in terms of the scratchability, or it's prone to scratching, so easy to do. On the tank, you would think that it'd be really easy to scratch, and yes, I do have some scratch marks, but in many ways that's the best bit about the bike. It hasn't really been that bad. It's got lots of swirl marks on it, it's got lots of rub marks on it, but nothing that I could say that has let the bike down. The side covers here, it's almost as if they lost their shine, their sheen, within a couple of months. It was almost like the top coat on them is kind of dulled and worn away. Again, lots of swirl marks on there. It just wasn't great. Now I've got to say, I think a lot of this is down to having a black bike as well, which are notoriously difficult to keep in pristine condition, let's say. That's why when I got my truck, I didn't go for a black truck. I actually went for a silver colour, so just to hide those swirl marks and everything like that. So black, whilst I think it looks great, is the best colour of a bike, in my opinion, it's the most difficult to keep. Interestingly, all the Softails always came with black side covers regardless of the colour of your bike, so lots of guys would go out there and actually have to spend extra money to colour match those side covers to the tank, let's say. But possibly the weakest area on the Harley Davidson Softails in particular I'm talking about, but you could apply this to all of the Harley Davidsons, is the seat area. Well, actually the rear mudguard, the rear fender. The way the seat is put on there, it naturally rubs on the mudguard. So if you look under the seat, it's always horrible, it's always scratched and marked. But then when you're trying to screw in the rear bolt there to hold down the seat, again, that is so easy to scratch the paintwork. I've got so many gouges on the rear fender. I'm actually looking at having the whole bike repainted at some point. So why is it so bad? Why is it so easy to scratch? I think there are a few issues here. First of all, let's say on the rear fender, I think mostly this is down to this seat, the way you attach the seat, the way you take it off and put it back on again. It's almost like it needs to have a warning label on there to say be extra specially careful because you're going to mark your rear fender. The tank, it's prone to scuffing as well, and yes, that happens to all tanks, but it's almost like they need an extra layer, an extra durable bit of paint, let's say, or an extra durable top coat for it. Again, with any kind of fairing, if you've got the Sport Glide like me, or if you've got one of the touring bikes as well, they need extra protection. Now, one thing that I'm kicking myself now that I didn't do right at the start when I bought the bike, which I had done in previous bikes, I didn't get this bike ceramic coated, and I wish I had, because that would have helped a lot in keeping the bike or the paintwork more protected. But I've also got to acknowledge that a lot of this is down to user error as well. Now, I'm sure I've also contributed to the demise of this paintwork as well. Yes, it was my own fault for marking the rear fender numerous times as well. But again, it's just like design of the rear seat to put it on and off. The side covers as well, just taking those off and putting them back on again, and possibly using the wrong kind of wax in those early days. I've got a feeling that has helped to contribute to the scuffing or the wearing down or the dulling down of those as well. A few marks did appear on the paintwork, I'm sure, after I took it into the dealership to have those initial services on, but I can't prove that, so I can't really say. But it does seem as if I did have a few marks on there as well. And I've got to say, when I did a couple of long distance rides, I put a tank bag on there, but I put a protective mat over it, and still that protective mat still scuffed the tank as well. So again, I think regardless of what you put on there, it's still prone to some scuffing. The front fairing as well, again, it was my own fault for trusting that it wouldn't mark so easily when I was doing some work to it. So you've got to be extra specially careful with the paintwork. If you're really concerned about swirl marks and things like that, possibly a black is not the best way to go. You're probably looking at a respray in 2 to 3 years time if you're using your bike on a daily basis and you're riding all year round in all kinds of weather conditions. I would say possibly 3 or 4 years if you really drag it out a little bit. But as I say, if you're that concerned about the quality of the paintwork, it's almost like you've got to go in slow motion every time you're around the bike, and you've really got to ride in the best riding conditions. So if you're riding in this country where I do, forget it, you'll never ride your bike. But if you're riding in a really dry country, let's say, yeah, that would work out for you, I'm sure. But why is it so bad? I don't know. Is it a ploy that we always try and get our bikes repainted? I don't know. I really don't know. But I wish that the paintwork would be better. Well, I'm not talking really about the finish, because I think the finish has definitely improved. I'm thinking about the durability. The durability of this paint doesn't seem to be that great, in my humble opinion. And certainly when you're looking around the bike, from front and rear mudguards, the fairings, the fork legs as well, some marking there, which is to be expected because of road debris, of course. But also you could extend this onto the chrome work, and also, let's say, the metal parts, let's say on your yokes, the triple trees. Again, they tend to scuff really easily. The one area of the bike which I think is quite durable, and I've been quite impressed with it so far, has been the actual frame. Apart from the underside, which has shown some signs of rusting, overall it's not too bad. But again, you've got to protect your bike. You've got to, especially in the winter, cover it with a moisture repellent or an anti-corrosive, that kind of thing. So whilst it's held up, you've really got to protect it. And I've got to say, the bikes, I think, have definitely improved in terms of rust resistance over many years. But again, it's regular washing and some anti-corrosive moisture repellent for those wetter days or wetter riding days. But because you have to wash your bike on a more regular basis, you are more prone to scuffing the paintwork. So again, you really need to look at ways in which you're washing your bike as well. It becomes a science rather than just a quick pastime. Anyway, I thought I'd bring that to you because I would say at some point I am looking at a respray on my bike. Which colour I go for? Possibly a black again for my sins, but I don't know, I do fancy a nice little dark matte black, or a really dark silver, something like that, or dark grey. I think will look pretty cool. But anyway, that's for another day. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. But don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, like and share, and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. And I'll catch you again. Ta-da!